Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the Revolutionary Baddies podcast, episode number 1.
The big one.
The big one, not the little.
Not the little one. I'm going to read a quote from Huey P. Newton. It's also featured in our manifesto. We'll have that published. Check it out. In a 1967 essay titled The Correct Handling of a Revolution, he wrote, "The main purpose of the Vanguard Group should be to raise the consciousness of the masses through educational programs and other activities. The sleeping masses must be bombarded with the correct approach to struggle, and the party must use all means available to get this information across to the masses." He was saying to us, to future Dee and Brittany, start the podcast, push the propaganda.
That's what I believe.
Yeah. So, did anybody read Parable of the Sower?
Did anybody read Parable of the Sower? We wanted to start off there. For those that are listening, welcome to the Revolutionary Baddies universe. My name is Dee.
I'm Brittany.
And we are your hosts of this podcast.
Right.
We are here to be stewards of the good word.
Okay.
Of the propaganda.
The propaganda machine. We're going to get into that throughout this season.
We'll talk more about that, give a definition of it, but we are here to push the consciousness of our people. It is our duty. And this episode, we wanted to really ground it and the prophet, who is Octavia E. Butler.
Okay.
My fave.
Full name.
Period.
But let's get into Parable of the Sower, because if you've read it, you get it. If you haven't, you'll get it.
Get on it.
Come on.
Get on it.
I was put on by none other than my lovely co-host, Dee.
You girl.
We were out in the streets. Quick street story. We're out. It's like a Monday.
Yeah.
It was a weekday. So not a lot going on. We're at a bar, and some of Dee's friends joins us. You know, Dee's got a lot of friends. So you know, she's got a lot of friends.
Shout out to Dee's friends.
Shout out to Dee's friends. All cool. I enjoy everyone. And so a group comes, and we're just chatting about different things. And somehow I got on my religious rant.
As you do.
As I tend to do. And I'm so sorry to anybody who I've been out with. And they're like, why she got to get on this right now? But I will sometimes. I just will. And I'm talking, and one of Dee's friends was my opponent. In this, I'm trying to convince him to abolish religion. Anyway, Dee heard me, and in true Dee fashion, she was like, "You need to read Parable of the Sower." That's it. That was her only interjection. I was like, wait, what? She was like, "No, you need to read it." And I was like, I've seen people posting. I've heard about Octavia Butler. I was like, I will. I ordered the book, I think, that night. And 10 pages in, I was like, Dee really thinks she know me. Indeed. What? And I immediately was on the Parable of the Sower, the Octavia Butler, all the trains that I could hop on immediately. Because when you read the first, 30 pages, you know exactly why it's so relevant today.
Yeah.
So relevant.
Yeah. I mean, anybody that is thinking about the after times, the post-apocalyptic, building new worlds, building community under really drastic, terrible conditions, I think, if you're interested in any of that, Parable of the Sower is the book for you. It is my favorite book in the world. And I have become an Octavia Butler book collector over the years. But I've read it maybe 3 times already.
What parts of the book resonate the most with you? Because, I went to Lauren. For you all who don't know, Lauren, the main character, is essentially starting her own religion, which isn't my goal, but it spoke to, challenging our belief systems, especially as times are changing.
Yeah.
So, like, what parts for you were like, yeah?
I really resonated with her being so focused and so determined to be ready when the her community is surrounded by a wall. She's been living in this wall her whole life. Her dad is like the pastor of the community, so he's the one that really brings people together and helps to solve problems, that kind of thing. He's a mediator and all of that. And she's like, she could sit comfortably, she's the oldest child. She could just fall and follow in her dad's footsteps, but she knows that there is something coming and that this wall won't last forever. And just the amount of persistence that she gives to being prepared, having go bags, knowing how to shoot a gun, knowing how to grow food, reading books constantly. Yeah, just that energy of like, y'all think this shit is cool, it's chill, and it's fun, and it's not. Like, we about to be on our own.
Yeah.
Essentially.
No, Lauren was definitely a character that's like, she's ready.
Yeah.
And so that's what kind of begs the question of like, why we centered this book for the first episode. Because what does being ready look like?
Mm-hmm.
In the scheme of revolutionary times, right. What does it look like to be ready? Lauren's the perfect guide for that.
Mm-hmm.
And you and Lauren are firstborn daughters. Mm-hmm. So that y'all run the world. That's what they say.
That is what they say.
That's what they say. Y'all be ready because y'all are like little parents. Like that balance of like the child, the youth, and like you have that maturity. So
yeah, reading this also as a mom, like you have a daughter that you're raising a free Black child. What kind of came up for you in that aspect of reading the book?
Well, I mean, I felt for Lauren because her birth mother was dead. Mm-hmm. I believe the drugs. So never having that bond was, I felt for the character in that sense. Mm-hmm. She did have a stepmother, and of course her father was a pretty dominant role. But her dad, I think he prepared her to be more than a child. Mm-hmm. And that's what's important. I think I was actually just talking about it today with someone that in parenting, you can't just raise a child as a child and think that when they become an adult, when their birthday comes, they're going to switch into this like super responsible adult. They're going to advocate for themselves. They're going to speak up. They're going to, step into their power, whatever authority they may have. If you don't empower that while they're a child.
Right.
And so in the conversation, we were talking about parenting styles where, other generations or still people now, they have to have that control and they have to keep a child in the child's place. Mm-hmm. And Lauren was young, but she was learning things.
Yeah. And
she had responsibilities. She had to, I believe, teach or assist at one of the schools that they had. Mm-hmm. And honestly, in these times that we're in, we all want to keep our children in a bubble and we don't have to ruin it. We don't have to wake them up like, have you seen the news today?
Right.
But also children, like a lot of the people who we look at as greats in the struggle, they early on had to understand what was going on around them and be taught things and have their parents or whatever leaders they had around them speak to them about these issues and help the children understand this is your future.
Right.
So from the book, I see how important it is, especially having a girl. It's unfortunate people be out here like, I don't want no girl. I don't want a girl.
What is that about?
What is that?
What is that about?
Shut your mouth. Keep that inside.
What? I think that still kind of stems from this idea around having a boy first, that means that you got
locked in leadership,
this inherent protector, and the whole thing around things being passed down to the son from the family. Oh, the firstborn son. What is that about?
What is that? Because a lot of times your son ends up being a loser.
Straight loser. Like, we are not living in England in damn 1774.
This is the feudal system. I mean, low key.
Like, what? I don't.
Yeah.
And then people be like, "Oh yeah, I'm glad I'm having a boy. It's low maintenance. Low maintenance.
Do you have bond? Do you have bail money? Like, them motherfuckers be getting into shit.
Boys are expensive. The sports, the sneakers. If you want your little boy to be a young fly nigga, the sports, the sneakers, the clothes, the games. Oh, don't even.
Haircuts that went up. People used to talk, I can take my son, get my haircuts that went up.
Haircuts went up. They $60.
And he needed fresh. He need that line fresh.
He need new, like, real sneakers. They can't wear these little kick around things from Target and I don't know, Kmart or whatever.
The broken bones, the hospital visits. Come on. But yeah, so they what
anyway.
But we see that in the book. Yeah. That Lauren is the oldest. She's a daughter, but she has brothers. One not too far behind. Yeah.
3 boys. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's Keith. He is the oldest boy. And so he lives in that ego that comes with, like, I'm technically like the oldest of the young men in the family. And he has not a single trace of being a man in him. Mm-hmm. And he gets a lot of sympathy.
Right.
And so Lauren is this young girl, and she's looking at her brother. She's looking at her parents like, do y'all see him being a loser?
Hello?
Like, hello? So, yeah, having a daughter, people automatically assume that as the tides change and, the circle of life and your children become older and more somewhat dominant, that you're somehow with a daughter, you're just going to have a damsel taking care of you. Yeah. A damsel in distress. No, your daughter's going to handle things.
Right.
Appropriately.
Right.
Without her spouse.
Till the end.
Till the motherfucking wheels pop off.
Till the end. So
your son is gonna be like, well, let me ask my wife. Me and my wife is handling mama and daddy. Yeah. Right. The lady.
Yeah, no, we already know. So another thing in the book that they really highlight is the overall kind of climate catastrophe that we are on time for. I think, like, her book became more popular, especially beginning of this year, because of all of the wildfires in California. The reality is we're going to get wildfires every year.
Yeah.
Because the damn water system, most of it is privately owned in California.
The climate crisis, I admit, like, I would say probably 10 years ago, when people were talking about climate crisis, I believed it. I understood it. But, being a young Black woman, like in my 20s at the time, I'm like, there are other battles that I need to be worried about.
Right.
And then you just realize how connected all of it. And at the end of the day, even if niggas was free tomorrow, like, nobody on our back, no harassment, get out the fucking way, let Black folks achieve. If the planet is not sustainable, the crops can't grow,
Burn a building.
It's nothing we can do. And yeah, I'm learning more as I dig into my own politics. Like, y'all, we gotta talk about the earth.
At the very least, we need to grow into that as a society. Grow into understanding. When people are like, why do we have these hot days in the summertime and these cold days you know what I mean? Like, the weather is moving to an extreme place. We will soon not have seasons for real.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's happening. The gaps in the seasons are closing, which impacts the entire ecosystem. We, please, I beg of us, please take global warming out of your vocabulary, please.
Y'all don't know what to do with it.
Leave global warming in like 1998. Where we are is climate catastrophe, people. It is not just about the planet getting warmer. The winters will also get colder. The snow blizzards in Texas and in New Orleans, these things are not by accident. They are by design.
Yeah.
Because of capitalism.
But you know what? The reason people are not connected to the crisis of the climate and the earth is because we're just not connected to the earth in general.
Yeah.
We don't even touch it half the time. Like sometimes I think about, okay, we're living in our homes, paved parking lot. You don't see earth unless you intentionally go to a park.
Yeah.
That's literally when you touch grass. You see the trees. And depending on if you're in an urban area or not, it's not a lot of trees.
Right.
So we don't see our food go from nothing to something. We just go pick up them chickens at the store, pick up the vegetables. Right. I remember when I started realizing things about certain vegetables. I'm like, wait, is this like a deep underground one? Or when I was seeing or one time my friend went and got carrots and they were like from a farm.
Yeah.
Farmer's market. They were massive.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what are them skinny things in Harris Teeter I be buying? Why my carrots skinny? Fake. Why the chicken this big? You know what I'm saying? So we have to really get connected. And once again, it goes back to the book. Like Lauren had seeds packed with her in her go bag, which we'll get into the go bag in a minute. But you gotta be able to like learn how to plant crops. Lord.
At the very least. I mean, that's why I'm seeing a lot more people our age get into gardening, get into having their own gardens, and and obviously that's something that we saw and always associated with old people. Like your grandmom or auntie, your neighbor down the street, she got a garden. Somebody else got a garden. And now I'm seeing more of our generation and younger really get into being tapped into the land because it helps you to really give a fuck about what you're consuming, what impacts the plants, your environment. You just end up actually generating more care for the earth.
And for yourself.
Because
one of the many things that I think we don't even sometimes really sit with that happened with colonialism is how disconnected we became. Like how our whole mindset was turned against very natural things. We look at ourselves like we're humans and that's the earth.
Yeah.
We're humans, those are animals. It's separation. And that wasn't true for a lot of indigenous cultures.
Right.
And then you got Pedro, Sir Wisenhire, I don't know, all the Europeans. Made up people. Christopher Columbus. They come down here. They come down and, separate us from like this whole ideal, even how they built their homes, how they constructed their entire societies, finely manicured lawns that like they have to control the grass.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna go in, but I'm just gonna say I
gotta thread around lawns too. So
they gotta control the length of it. They come around with a ruler.
Yeah.
Saying this is a centimeter too high for your yard. I ain't gonna really go off of that one. So nonetheless, that type of culture coming in and disconnecting us from the earth. And so we don't see ourselves as a part of it. So like when we care for plants, it's not like, oh, spray, that's so nice. Like plants are giving back to us at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, the environmental threats are very real. There's a shit ton of books on them. And much of specifically the environmental justice movement was started by Black people, started by indigenous people.
Because who knows the earth better?
Now, the problem is that there isn't enough representation in the sense of Black people feeling like we can relate to that fight because it is heavily, heavily dominated by white people in this country. But tap in. There's something somewhere that's going on. There's obviously the Sunrise Movement. They've been doing work for a few years. But there's many, many other here in North Carolina. We have North Carolina Environmental Justice Network, have been around for decades. What it does and what it creates in those environments for the people that are living there is extremely toxic. It's built on capitalism, which means they don't care about people and only about profit and acquiring more land and expanding this industry. And they've been doing work out east in North Carolina for a long time. So shout out to North Carolina Environmental Justice Network.
Shout out. The thing about capitalism is that it's really sets like a global mindset that we are always extracting, taking from the earth, looking at the earth as ours for the taking.
Yeah.
Every part of it. And so we look at the land and we feel like we're taught essentially, or we watch industries do it, and it's normalized how they can like literally take the earth till it's unusable. The soil is no good, the river is no good, whole land masses just obliterated, testing nuclear bombs in the ocean. Like the earth is just here for us to just be folly on and do what we want. And so it's a mindset of constantly taking. How much can you extract? Can you extract the people, the soil, the crops, the minerals, the whatever type of agriculture, and no replenishing,
no reciprocation.
Like, please put some
love,
put some love
back into it. Plant some seeds randomly anywhere.
And that but I do love that the younger generations are doing it.
Yeah,
and proud. And it's viral. Those are the type of things we need. Show me your garden. Show me your garden.
Don't show me your sneaker collection. Show me your garden.
I don't want to see another lace wig glued down. Technique. Put it on.
Not another one. Take it off.
Get that fucking lace off again.
No, it's no shade. Because some of the girls, it really be laid and it looks nice.
Laid.
The colors, everything.
Yeah, but I can only follow. I'm following a couple of the wiggy pages.
Okay.
But I can only do so many.
Right.
We need the balance. I need more gardening. We have to have a little bit more,
Right.
Once again, but how are we facing the times, and like how are the ways that we kind of put up walls, whether it's like we feel like we have physical walls separating us from different states, different areas, and like the ways in which we don't face it, maybe just in our minds. So we watch videos of the 1,000 laid wig with the new lace technology.
Yeah.
So like, what are some ways in which you feel like how do you see the times right now? And what are some ways in which you have to retreat, that you're like, nah, I can't?
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard to keep up. Like, I'm not on Twitter or X, but I'm on Blue Sky, which is basically like Twitter, old Twitter, no Elon Musk. Those of you that love and miss the old Twitter, there's another platform that exists. And I think like on there, it's like constantly these new executive orders.
Yeah.
The federal workers are highly at risk. So many people have already lost their jobs. There's all of these closures is happening. All of this shit with the fucking universities losing funding, farmers losing funding, schools losing funding. The Department of Education is about to be a wrap. It's about to be a thing of the past.
Yeah.
And more of the privatization is going to start filling those gaps. That's the point of what they're doing.
Yeah.
It is to further privatize government resources. And so, and that means a lot. That is a ripple effect if we look at history. in a way, what we're experiencing, we've been through before. And I feel like these times call for more action, less inertia, more more knowing and understanding each other and the systems, the gravity of the systems that we are fighting.
Yeah.
Like, we cannot underestimate what we are up against, especially here in the United States, in the belly of the beast.
Yeah.
Like, we just can't underestimate that.
I think it's, people have to see it. They have to see it unravel. Because, well, I say people who have to see it don't understand it. So that's the only way. The only, like, perceivable way for them to get the times is to really see, oh, this business shut down. Oh, these grants. Oh, that's why this company isn't doing this anymore. Or that's why I can't get this benefit anymore.
Yeah.
But if you're proactive and you read and you study, you see how the tides will go based off of certain things.
Right.
Which is why I think it's so important right now. Like, I understand everybody's a little burnt out via Twitter, because I am on the Twitter streets. Heavy. But I see, and I try to engage in, like, meaningful discussions up there. Low-key, I'd be doing dissertations in the middle of the day for no reason.
On IG.
On Twitter.
Oh, on Twitter.
Full thread, out the blue, about capitalism. But really, people, we have to, like, study, and we have to learn, and we have to connect learning to some type of betterment for ourselves. So I think it's talking about how do we become revolutionary. A lot of people don't have a sense of urgency or action because they just really don't even know where to go. And if you wake up today and look at the news, you wouldn't know where to start or what politics to have.
Yeah.
But if you study it and see that it's a part of this, like, cycle in history, you'll be like, oh, okay, you see things for what they are, and then you feel a little bit more prepared. Now, it's a big machine, it's a big thing to go against,
for sure,
but you have a better understanding of it. And so people got to read. It sounds so cliche, and when you tell people you read, people be like, so you smart, huh? Like, you know, it like, reading has this type of, like, if you're a reader, people look at you like, oh, all right, school of life. And it's like, oh, man, like,
it's pretty basic.
It's really basic. Literacy is a fairly new thing for humanity, like mass literacy.
Right.
But we've been in it long enough.
We can
read. We can do it.
But you know what? The literacy rate in this country is bad. It is embarrassing.
It's bad. And comprehension. Because a lot of people just are looking for someone who can drag their finger along the lines and recite the words. But really comprehending what you're reading.
Yeah.
And you can see that on Twitter. Somebody writes 140 characters and somebody will still misinterpret it. I look at the comment and I'm like, how'd you go wrong with 2 sentences? The comprehension. But we have to better ourselves through reading. It sounds so cliche. Like, y'all need to read, pick up books.
Right.
No. We have to for the times.
No, yeah. And I was a non-reading girly. Let me be clear. And basically, like, probably before I went to grad school, I was not really reading shit. Like, for fun, no. I wasn't. I'm like, oh, I could just talk on the phone. Or I could do something else with my time. But the amount of understanding I now have about the world that I'm living in, that is not just my random, my perspective, it is paramount.
Yeah. Yeah, when we were young, like, look, the 20s, 2015, 16, those years, I didn't touch a book.
In a curve.
I touched a bar stool every day.
A bar stool.
Okay? I was touching liquor. Not a book. No. A good amount of time. But once again, when I was a child, I did this one. As we are maturing, like I said, it's paramount. You just have to.
Right.
And we have to connect. We cannot, like the characters in Parable of the Sower, Lauren was watching her community. Like, do y'all know what's on the other side of the wall? And the wall can be, it's physical in the book, but it's also metaphorical, like the world around us.
Yeah.
We know how dangerous it is. We barely can go out in it.
Yeah.
What are we going to do for the day? And we know that these communities are being ransacked around us. So it's only a matter of time. And that's what I be looking at people. It's only a matter of time before things that didn't touch us before may touch us now.
Yeah.
So
right.
Now that we know that, or we can at least acknowledge it, which is probably the first step.
Right.
How are we getting ready?
How the hell are we going to get ready? And the other thing in the book is that Lauren, she actually she was like, I'm going to do the sermon today.
Yeah.
And she tried to let the people know. She was like, we need to do this. We need to do this. We need to be doing, like, she had a whole list. And essentially, what I remember was they kind of, I think some people was with her on that. Yeah. But a lot of the people, most of the people just kind of brushed it off and was just like, we just need to pray, keep hope alive. God got us. We're good people, and that's going to be our protector. And our society does that in different ways.
Yes.
It's the praying it away or just relying on prayer.
A hope and a wish.
A hope and a wish.
That it just doesn't.
And a want.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And staying put.
I mean.
Because Lauren was like, let's go.
Yeah.
She also was not just preparing herself for if the walls closed in on them and people came from the outside. She was prepared to make pretty much a trek through states to go where she needed to go to safety, like proactive. And I think these are proactive times.
Yeah.
We cannot be reactionary in everything. We have to have some type of propaganda, proactive measures, offensive measures, not just defensive measures. So like a lot of things you can see from Lauren, she was like, y'all can pray on the way. Hello, don't get me on my pulpit. Black folks, we can pray on the way to doing what we need to do.
Right. The whole way.
The whole way.
Because it's plenty to do. And and that's also the propaganda, right? The idea that just everything is just going to work out and we all just going to be okay. Without your help. Without your change also.
We need it. We need every single one of y'all.
We need it all because we need it all.
We do.
We literally need it all.
Whatever your talent is,
bring it.
We need goons.
We need real niggas.
We need real niggas. We need goblins. Shooters and looters. Okay?
No, we do.
We need engineers. The black women and black men, black women with those minds. We need builders. We need scientists.
Listen.
Don't sleep on the black
Okay, Brittany, what the shooters and looters gonna do?
Shoot and loot. When necessary. Some of the means become necessary.
If you a looter, then be on watch duty.
Right. Because I'm not advocating anything. Let me disclaim that right now. It's a disclaimer. But there's a time when you go from bootlegging a major store to looting.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I am coming up in there. And we're going to get what we need.
We need this.
Don't worry about the register, sweetheart. We on our way out.
Don't even worry. Matter of fact, you should come with us.
Yeah. Grab a cart. Because, during like the uprisings and really all like
what a time.
Protests, movements and moments in history, especially in recent history since Rodney King, is the looting that follows, right? And every time I look at it, of course, the mainstream media, which we know who they is.
Mm-hmm.
Columbus, Christopher Columbus and his crew. Mm-hmm. When they're talking about the looting, I'm like, how can you judge loot for looting? Because literally, Black people, the descendants of Africa, they took us like loot. They ran up in Africa and packed. Not only did they pack some bowls, some fabrics, some grains, they packed us too, like loot. They looted us. Right. We are loot. We're the descendants of loot. So when the loots get to looting, it's only right. It's
okay. The way you broke that down, I didn't know what you meant.
That's where I was going.
I got you.
We're the descendants of loot.
Yeah.
So when we get the loot in it, it's a part of the legacy
that they created.
Okay. Undo it. If they want us out of Walmart after a little uprising, we need some waters and some TVs. We the capital. Yeah.
The TVs was crazy. Here's what I'll say.
TVs are crazy, but you need... Yeah. When you send in the looters, they're going to bring a friend. And that looter might not be minded towards the right thing. They going for...
So we both live in Durham, but I'm originally from Philly. So when all of the quote-unquote looting was happening, I'm paying attention to what's happening in Philly. And when because I don't think nothing really popped off in Durham.
No,
we ain't get there.
Some peaceful marches. They were peaceful. Yeah.
It was kept cute here. In Philly, niggas was rolling off with forklifts.
We need forklifts. For the crops.
For the crops, for the supplies.
We need, when I say black engineers, we need black engineers that are looters. Because they go get the John Deere equipment that we need.
Run up in John Deere, please.
You gotta. If I drop you in a tank,
Caterpillar.
If we could get our hands on a tank, do you think you could drive it?
Are we ready?
You don't want to leave a tank on the lot. If you can get it,
fuck that.
Grab the tank.
Pull it up.
The loot.
We need that.
So we need well-rounded, full-rounded. We need each other. Yeah. And I get that's really the point during these times. When Lauren and the few of them stepped or survived the massacre pretty much in their neighborhood, they realized we need each other. Mm-hmm. We have differences. We believe different things. Mm-hmm. We've got different backgrounds. But if we're going to make it somewhere, we're going to have to trust each other. And we're going to also have to know how to bring people in.
Right.
Which is along the way, they, met new families and they had to gauge, like, is this somebody we can bring in and have commonality with to get somewhere?
Right.
So looters, shooters, engineers, cleaners, cookers. Mm-hmm. People got to be fed.
Yeah.
Thinkers, doers, the organizers. Shout out to the organizers. And shout out to those that can be organized.
Love those people too.
Right.
We really do. So we got we talked about a little bit on the go bag. Talked about the go bag.
Go bag.
What is going to be
in the go bag?
What's in your go bag?
All right. So if you don't know, the go bag is Lauren was preparing and she had a little bag. Like, because sometimes you might have to run in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. Now, me and Didi have originally discussed this question. And when I was first asked, my mind wasn't really thinking about the severity of the situation. I was like, I'm packing my toy. My rose.
Right.
But that too, though. But it's not a priority. Because then Didi responded. And she'll tell you her bomb-ass proposition for what she got to have. Okay? Which made a lot of sense. It was the foil. Aluminum foil.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mine's is the aluminum foil.
Gotta have the way she pitched that.
First of all, I love aluminum foil. One thing about it, every time I use my oven, I use aluminum foil, more than likely. It is a barrier. Mm-hmm. You can use it as a reflection. You can use it to heat things up, keep things warm. You can wrap that motherfucker around your body, and it'll do its best in the middle of a winter storm. You have some sort of protection. It's easy, cheap to get.
You can cook in outside environments with it.
So many things. It made
me think like, damn, well, okay. All right, so little things like I do have a go bag packed. It's not complete, but I have water purification tablets. Little things, like from Parable of the Sower, I have a can opener because you don't realize. Like, imagine being a little starving. Yeah. You come across a store, and at this point, the only thing left is canned meats, canned vegetables. You can't even get in that bitch, or you got to get the stabbing, risking life and limb. Right. A can opener. What else? I mean, some first aid materials. We talked about alcohol.
We did talk about alcohol.
It's a disinfectant, and it's an escape, depending on how crazy things are getting. Yeah. And what? I might pack a little bit of lighter fluid. Might pack a little vegetable oil or something. Little oil. That was, oil. Yeah. You have oil. Yeah. For several things.
Lots of things. I would bring, of the oils, it would be coconut oil for me.
That's a good one. Because you can lather in it and you can cook with it.
And you can cook with it, and you can use it as an antiseptic. You can use it. It kind of extracts things as well in your body, as well as, and it's you can use it as a toothpaste.
Yeah. All right. So it's settled. Coconut oil.
Coconut oil is there.
The Thule. The little pum.
Gotta have something.
Some knives for food and
protection. Yeah. I mean, in the book, it was not just people that you needed a gun for.
Dogs.
The dogs had transformed in those years. So this was kind of part of the shift of the ecosystem was so many dogs. Like, people couldn't keep dogs.
Yeah. Because you can't feed them. Yeah.
Because you can't feed them. So the dogs is just out in the wild. And as they're evolving to be less domesticated and more in the wild, they are some serious threats. Yeah. Especially in California. Because all them people out there got a damn dog. What's that about?
Get rid of the dogs. Or you know what? I put dogs back in their original position. To be domestic, but domestic like outside, tending to other animals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Helping you with the sheep.
Sheepdogs.
Yeah. That's the utility of dogs. That's what they were meant for.
Right.
Now y'all dogs
they in a stroller.
Chronic depression. And can only sit on the satin couch. That's a leech. That ain't no dog. That's a leech.
It's a bill.
That's a bill. Feed me. Get my anxiety medicine and my eczema. How your dog got eczema? I'm sick of it. You'll see throughout the season. I have a lot of pet peeves. No pun intended with pet.
No.
I have a lot of pet peeves. Pets are one of them. Because why is he in here?
Now, don't cancel us, y'all.
No, don't. But I do I love animals. I'm actually an advocate.
I don't.
But I love them. Same way I loved, the leaves on the top of a tree. I don't need to be up there. Mm-hmm. I love branches. I'm not climbing trees.
Right.
It's a respect. I have respect for animals.
Right.
But I don't need them.
We need to figure out what's the revolutionary plan for the animals. The pets in particular.
We need to recruit them. They got dogs. Columbus and them got them canines. Black folk, I know we got our cane corsos and our pits. Battle of the pits to the German shepherds.
Right.
Got to bring them dogs out. They got them dogs for a reason.
Right.
So that's what we could do. But they outside in the barn.
What people want to do with the cats?
Them the real assassins. You want to get a nigga killed sitting in the cat. Sitting in the cat.
No, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about animals, to be very honest. I've never had a pet, and I'm just not an animal girly. But the book does have them as part of the very real, threat that they face just being outside of their home and, out, trying to figure out life.
We need some horses. Trail ride. Bring the horses. Where my country niggas at? Get the horses.
Yeah. There's roles to be played, but we gotta be smart. And that's why we gotta read.
Everything is literally in a book.
Nothing is new under the sun. There are only new suns. That's our take.
Oh, there we know it is. We have to read because not even just revolutionary books, or read a period piece, get a better understanding of some. It could be a fictional book that is based around a certain reality, or story that happened around a historical event. So if you don't want to jump straight into reading, certain, essays and articles and things of that sort, go with a fiction book that helps you understand a certain person. Biographies. Yes. I love a good biography. Yep. Just read the life of so-and-so, and you'll understand their politics and perhaps yours as well. So it can start with the small things, but literally everything that I think I've thought in my own brain, I look in a book and I'm like, okay, somebody's said this.
Somebody thought about this. Yeah.
And it'll be the things that weren't pushed to you. So go pick up a book that, don't go reread Harry Potter.
Right. Which I love.
Yeah. It's a great book.
But
if you're going to commit yourself, you read it. You've seen the movies.
Right.
Go pick up another book.
And don't just rely on movies. Like, there's some biopics that I love, but I wouldn't rely on them to tell me the full story of what the hell happened on Remember the Titans.
No.
Or Selena. Those are my favorites.
Selena is probably the best one.
Remember the Titans is also in my top 3. Nevertheless, I wouldn't rely on just those movies to also give me the full scope of what's going on. You got to read. You got to read.
Every episode you're going to hear that, because we have to bring it back. Yes. It has to be normalized. If you're over 30, you got to read. Whether it's about bone density, menopause, savings, traveling, you have to just be committed to learning, because that is probably the first revolutionary act that everybody can immediately jump to. It's learning.
Yes. And we're excited to be learning with y'all.
Yes.
Because we are still very much learning. And this podcast is really meant to be a holder and a place for our community to come together to be in these questions that feel very grand and kind of outside of who we are, but bringing it and breaking it down into small questions with books that are very simple. Like Parable to Sower is a true fiction book. It's not an academic book, but it brings new questions about the world that we live in. And she essentially is predicting the future. So
yeah, and we all can really predict the future. If we look at the past and we look at today, then we know exactly where we're on the way to. So that's a big.
Maybe we'll talk about that on another episode. Like, what is our predictions for the future based on what we know?
Oh Lord, yeah,
because we got some too.
Yeah,
and I imagine you have some as well. So we're excited to engage with y'all on that through this podcast. Please leave us comments.
Yes.
Please rate our show, rate and review.
Let us know how you're a revolutionary baddie. Like, what's in your go bag? How are you facing the times? How are you hiding from the times? You might find people who relate. And because we all, just get our ice cream and put on our favorite binge show. And that's okay, too, for 100%. Now. Watch the shows while you can.
Yeah. While you can.
And still, and then, like I say, when the show is over, pick up that book.
That's it. Yeah. That's all. And there's lots of new reading clubs that are coming out, book clubs.
I love it.
No, it's a boom.
I love seeing Black people just like, we got a book club.
Right.
We got the run club, the clubs. The clubs
Social spaces.
Yeah.
Social spaces, for sure. Yeah. I think that we're going to talk about the third spaces. That'll be exciting. But if this is your third space, welcome. We're excited to have you. Thank you for being here with us.
What are your tips? What's your tip for being a revolutionary baddie?
Tip for being a revolutionary baddie. I definitely think that getting connected to nature, the land in some kind of way is a way to be a revolutionary baddie. Give a fuck about the water. Give a fuck about the land. Give a fuck about like the trash, recycling, and compost. Those things are simple. It's likely that there's something in your neighborhood, in your city, that can get you more involved in something related to that. But I think really giving a fuck about what's happening to the land and to nature is critical.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your tip?
If I'm thinking of parable, Lauren, you'll see, is creating her own faith called Earthseed. Mm-hmm. And really what it's about is about our beliefs evolving. Mm-hmm. Y'all will get plenty more from me about the importance of having belief systems that match the times and that are rooted in something sustainable. And so I think one of my tips is just really sit with the things that you believe already, the things you feel like you know, the things you feel like you're not in a place to know, whether it's like if you're in a particular faith and you feel like you're not there yet to be able to speak to certain things or whatever it is. I just challenge people to really sit with their beliefs and see how that serves them during these times.
Yeah.
Like obedience, this is not a time for obedience.
Mm-hmm. This is a time for
disobedience. You know, and so if you find yourself someone who maybe willingly goes along with authority or feels like it's not appropriate to question it, or we just have to ride the waves of certain type of authoritarianism, question why that is, like in your belief system, that you feel like you're not in a place to challenge certain things, and challenge yourself. Ask yourself those questions. So my tip is always to get your mind right. Always get your mind right.
Period.
Which goes back into what Dee said. You gotta give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's the first step. That's
really the first step. There are a lot of people out here that
don't care.
Give a fuck.
Don't see themselves as being a part of a people with a collective issue or goal. So I think you gotta give a fuck about being Black, about being a person of color, queer, whatever you are. Why you gotta give a fuck about what it means to be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what you want to do about it. You don't want them dogs to come on you.
Listen, and that's a good point also, that is really again about community. If you care about who you are at this particular moment with what's going on in the environment, it'll actually help you care more about the community and being more trustful of yourself, which means you are more trustful of your community.
You have to see yourself in them and see them in you.
Right.
And, I don't care who get on my nerves. I want to see all Black, well, I'm going to say all Black folks. Hold up, wait.
Not too much.
Not too much. Just wait, I was going too far. Most. From the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
If you got a real nigga heart.
Right.
I care because we are one. They don't see me no different than you. So yeah, we gotta think as a people, as a unit.
100%.
So those are the tips for being a revolutionary baddie for this episode. Shout out to Octavia. What's the E for?
Estelle.
Estelle Butler again for this masterpiece. I'm gonna get into talents.
There's a second.
And go check the book out. Like I say, it is not, I won't say it's not too heavy because obviously it's kind of apocalyptic times. But once again, it's not a academic book. It's something you can enjoy. And let us know what you think.
Thank y'all so much for listening.
Woo! RB episode 1.